And now you've got a lot more of the contingent auto liability forms that have been more traditionally freight broker specific, now entering into the same day delivery space, which is creating a whole lot of challenges, misinformation, policy gaps, and we're concerned for the industry that you know the if you pay for what you get at the end of the day, right? And if something is far less costly, you really need to question as to why. And I don't think there's enough of that going on in the industry. And would love to dig into that a little bit more, in depth, because of these contingent auto liability forms that are not designed actually in most cases in the States, and they're very difficult to understand.
One of the things that Sam just brought up, that you have to dig into the policy wording. Unfortunately, I find a lot of people don't do that today, both agents and consumers. They just trust each other. They read the first pages. I always tell the story when I start talking about policy wording that one of my first clients was a beer company, because I used to sell them trucks when I was a truck dealership. So I sold Mark V distributor my first commercial policy. Greg called me up about 2 days later and said, "Tommy, did you read the policy?" I said, "What happened?" He said, "You issued me a policy to exclude alcoholic beverages. What did I think beer was?" So the first commercial policy I ever wrote didn't cover what the exposure my insured had. So I tell that story to learn that day one, you got to read the policy. So I more or less have made a living reading policies and policy terms. And I think that's a mistake that people don't do that, because you're right, Brian. It's not the price so much as what's the coverage or not. And there's certain standard things that people don't understand that are built into the policies automatically. Obviously, what's primary and what's excess. Independent contractors having their own coverage. How does those policies work? How do I keep my policy from being involved in it? The one that bugs me about this thing, additionally insured. The standard ISO commercial auto policy has broad form additional insured endorsements built into it with no endorsements. So we have all these kind of things we got to deal with.